So we're going to try to switch up this weekly worship a little bit. Understanding that there's about 70 something pages uh, in the weekly worship in this book that we're using. What we're going to do instead of going through 30 back to back to back to back, what we're going to do is we're going to try to go through 6. And we're going to try to see if we can put together some sort of lesson, lecture with 6 of them. That way, every year feels different. You know, every week, every month feels different as opposed to just repeating back to back. So I'm going to go to page 60, right, of the document. Not to say that it ends at 72 or anything like that, but uh, if I'm doing my math right, and I'm not too sure if I am, but if I am doing my math right, you know, you have 12 times 6 is about 72. It's 72, right? Uh, and and for that reason, 12 months, we're just gonna jump from 60, and then next week we can jump from 66 and hopefully finish the document. Although it does say it's 77 pages, but we can work it out for the new year. So let's go first, and this is our ancient ancestors. This is the book Pan-African Wisdom. Obviously, you can download it for free in the link in the description. But as well, you can make a purchase and help out the cause of what is now going to be Keruwa and Kobia. All right, and that of course that's going to be our organization towards mobilizing and truly revolutionizing our people. Because one thing we have to realize, right, and this is very important, right? One thing we have to realize is that our people have 3 problems, all right? And they're called blackface nationalists, they're called fan-Africanists, and they're called nevolutionaries, all right? We don't need any more of these. What we need are true Pan-African nationalists, and it kind of ties in with this first quote, which is, "Whoever works without knowledge works uselessly." You see, and the trouble is this: that when we are talking about our people as a race, right? When we are talking about our people as a race, we have to bear in mind, right, that the work that needs to be done needs knowledge behind it. And a lot of times, what you're going to find is that every other, like most other, I shouldn't say every, but most other people pretending to speak for you or pretending to speak knowledge to you do not have the working knowledge of this world. And this is why nothing really seems to change. A lot of times we complain about the things we do and how they don't yield the results that we desire. But it's important and imperative for us to understand that nobody's going to bring about the transformation without knowledge. And if the people who are allegedly trying to transform your community are not working from knowledge, but instead are working from feeding onto your sense of victimhood, right? If that's all they are doing, then you're not going to advance not one iota. And you realize this because a lot of times what they use to back up, to justify what they're saying, is things that people before them have said. All right? And if you're using to justify, our perennial victimhood by saying, hey, look, see, somebody said we were a victim so long ago, it tells you that you're not really copying those who actually had something. And that's really one of the grand differences between me and a lot of other people. Because sometimes people say, hey, Oni, why did you go back to ancient Kemet? Why did you go back to ancient? Because ancient Kemet was free. You see? I don't go. Now they say, why don't you go to Amos? Why don't you go to Malcolm? Why don't you go? Because those men weren't free. There's a huge difference between emulating the free people and emulating, unfortunately, the enslaved people. For the longest I've said, look, we have to maroon and build for self. Why did I say maroon and build for self? Why didn't I say, hey, look, we're victims? You understand? Why do I look to, and because I tell you some of my ancestors were maroons, right? Some of them were enslaved too. But I don't talk about that, not to say that, I have anything troubling with that. Not to say that I would dismiss somebody for that. Obviously that's part of my makeup. But I big up the maroon part for that exact reason. You know, today there's like a movement called, well, hopefully it's gone now, but it's called American Descendants of Slaves. You have to realize that the whole mentality is that, see, because you could be the American descendants of revolutionaries. You understand? You could be the American descendant of repatriates. You could be the American descendant of pioneers, but you chose to be the American descendant of slaves because that is the victimhood that you want to imbibe and express to your people, and then you wonder why we're dealing with racial self-esteem issues. You wonder why we're dealing with racial self-esteem issues. You understand? Whoever works without knowledge works uselessly. The knowledge that you have to work with is the knowledge of revolution, the knowledge of resolution, the knowledge of liberation, and the knowledge of building nations. And of course, if those of you who don't know me, I haven't introduced myself, I'm sorry. I apologize. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Subscribe, like, share, you know the drill. But I'm Onitaset Kumat. I wrote the Book of Power. And this is the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio. And I need you to understand that if we're going to move forward as a people, you must work with knowledge. You must. This is not me telling you this. This is an ancient African ancestor. Matter of fact, this is Ptah Htp. Okay, this is Ptah Htp telling his son, a ruler in Africa, telling his son, look, work with knowledge. Work with knowledge so that we can be a people, that we could be the people that we need to be. Let's go to the next one. And of course, I'm going to try to be short. Hawks go away for the nesting season, and fools think they have gone forever. All right? Hawks go away for the nesting season, and fools think they have gone away forever. And this is very important for everything that you're thinking about. Okay? For every reason that you're thinking about, this is very important. Every enemy of yours has a nesting season. Every Askari has a nesting season. You have to be able to identify a hawk. You have to be able to identify a hawk and understand that when they retreat, they're going away temporarily. Whoever you think your enemy is, build for their return. Build for their return. All right? If you start celebrating that the Hawks have retreated, build for their return. Okay? Otherwise, you're a fool. Otherwise, you're a fool. Now, some people may wonder, well, what is a hawk? Is it the Democrats? Is it Republicans? Is it the Scotty? Is it the Look, whatever you think a hawk is, the most important thing for you to do is to build. All that other chatter, oh look, this guy's a hawk. I said it already. A lot of what the Pan-Africanists or the blackface nationalists or whomever do is what we call name calling. A lot of what the Pan-Africanists and the never-lutionaries, a lot of what they do is what we call name calling. You're going to call somebody a hawk, but that's all you're going to do. You're going to say, oh look, this is a hawk, look how he's eating. He's terrorizing the village. These hawks are terrorizing the village. That's all you're doing. You're just name calling. You're just saying what's happening. You're just giving names to things. Oh, that's a hawk. You know he's a hawk. Well, I mean, I didn't see him do nothing, but he's a hawk. But what are you building against these hawks? That's the question. Because if you're not building anything against the hawks, what you're doing is nothing. We had the story. Look back on the African Blood Siblings website. Look at the newsletter. You're gonna see the allegory of the train tracks. Beautiful story. Brilliant story. But the story goes that, there are trains coming in. The trains are coming in after people who are standing on train tracks. And all you're doing is telling people, hey, you're standing on these train tracks and the train's coming. All you're doing is telling them, you stand on the train tracks, the train comes. You're not helping them get out of the train tracks. You're not pushing them off the train tracks. All you're doing is say, hey man, you stand on train tracks. And that train track could be anything. Back then I was like, the train track could be, unemployment. The train track could be, poverty. The train track could be, dependence. Train track could be all that. The point being that whatever it is that you feel like people are in danger of, if you are not providing a way for them to get off of the train tracks, you are a murderer. You understand? You're a murderer. Or a fool. You understand? Because sometimes you can say, look, man, it's not my job. Because I had an elder. I don't know, how she's doing now. I had an elder, and she would say, look, during this, I think it was during the 70s maybe, right, or the 80s, you would engage black folk, and if they didn't want to hear what you said, he was like, okay, that's fine. The motto was, don't leave people in total darkness. That's all. That's all the motto was. Do not leave people in total darkness. All right? So what that meant was that you don't got to convert people. You don't got to change their lives. You don't got to change them. You don't got to get them off the train tracks. Just don't leave them in total darkness. You let them know, look, man, you are on these train tracks, and I'm going to do everything I can to help you, but if you want to stay there, Hotep Sabello, if you want to stay there, that's fine. I can't pull you off. You can't help people who don't want to help themselves. All right? You can't help people who don't want to help themselves. But you do what you can. You understand? You do what you can for them. So I want you to realize that there are hawks out there, and they're coming. They're returning, or they might even be here. The point is that you have to build your defense against that. Everything has a cycle. Everything has a cycle, from even the words that I'm saying produce vibrations in your brain. Matter of fact, it produces vibrations in your brain too. In order for you to hear, there's a vibration that goes on. In order for me to speak, there's a vibration that comes out. Everything is in waves, and waves are cyclical. Now the waves, of course, the amplitude goes down, but it keeps going until it obviously, peters. But the point being that everything is in cycles. The sun is in a cycle. The moon's a cycle. The psychology of people are in cycles. They say to themselves, look, like Brother Sabello just came in. He said, look, he's in Azania. If everybody in Azania gets their freedom, can't hold their resources, you know what's going to happen in 20 years? Some white boy's going to pick up a book and say, Azania is rich in minerals. Let me go check out. Let me see what's going on there. See, because you're going to say, look, man, the Hawks went away. We're free now. Right? But some white folk are going to have these books. They're going to look around and say, you know what? I wonder if there's still resources in Azania. And they're going to return. You see what I'm saying? So when you think you're free, you have to build for when the Hawks return. Because the next time these white folks show up, after we fight for liberty, right? After we have control of our own destiny, the next time they show up, we're not going to let them in, right? Or are we? That's the question. And the answer depends on what you are doing during their nesting season. That's where the answer comes in. That's where the answer comes in. So let's go on to this next one, which is when the community leadership loses direction. The community is oppressed. There is only the leadership and its direction that should be blamed in any social, economic, or political crisis. One spits only at the leader. Now, this is so important because this is so relevant to what's going on today in America. You know, I had the misfortune to be associated with a class of individuals on social media, right? Call it Twitter, right? And I'm still on Twitter, but I had to block a whole bunch of people. I had to block a whole bunch of people because of the idiocy that's coming out of what would be considered the quote unquote leadership of them, right? And what the leadership was doing was the most important thing about this leadership was this. I'm gonna let you know that they're Pan-Africanists, they're black-faced nationalists, and they're nevolutionaries. And what all of them were doing, right, on all sides of the spectrum, right? That was from the far left, that was from the quote unquote black nationalists, that was from the hashtag soda, as you call them, ADOS or FBA, all that nonsense, right? What they were all doing was they were saying, look, we are the leaders of black folk. We are the leaders of black folk. And because we're the leaders of black folk, we're telling black folk, do not vote because, well, they all had different reasons. The leftists were saying, don't vote because these guys are imperialists or some nonsense like that. We're not going to vote because you guys are imperialists. The other side said, the soda, hashtag soda. They were saying, oh, we're not going to vote because we need some tangibles, right? And the next side, the black nationalists were like, we're not going to vote because we always vote for you guys, and you guys don't wipe our asses for us. Some nonsense like that, right? And then black folk made a record turnout. Record voting turnout. And what that told you was that these people had no real authority in their own communities. They placed themselves as the leadership of the race. And they had no authority, no say, no influence in the community. And what did they do afterward? They spit at the community. They spit at the people who went out and voted. And it's like, look, I'm not going to say that I'm, blah, blah, blah. But what I have to say is this, that you have to humble yourself to reality. And by humble yourself to reality, that means that you were not doing your job. You spent. Now, these people, all three of these groups, at least from, because I tried to tune them out, but, anytime the white boy, they're reactionaries. Listen to me. They're reactionaries. Anytime the white boy says, look, I'm going to do something, they react. So the white people were like, we're going to run for election, and they ran like 2 years ago, and these black folk bombarded me for 2 years. I had to mute them, I had to block them, I had to so on and so forth. They bombarded me for 2 years of how much they're the leaders and how they're gonna solve black people's problems, and they're gonna do blah 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 blah. And in the end, they were what you call ineffective. And instead of conceding their ineffectiveness, their egos came in. And they still positioned themselves I'll explain it this way, right? The left, they were like, hey, look, if Bernie won, Bernie would have won, right? Or the left was like, or the nationalists were like, yeah, we're finally free. Y'all should have listened to us. Philadelphia don't want y'all. Philadelphia don't want y'all, right? And the hashtag soda was like, you see what I'm saying? If you don't deliver tangibles, we ain't go. And none of that mattered. For 2 years, none of that mattered. And instead of saying, you know what, we were wrong, we were displaced, they turned against the black masses. They turned against the black community. They still maintain that they were the most knowledgeable in the room, even though they have no real power, no real control. And that's what I was telling people, that you need to have leadership. You need to put yourself in a position, right? You need to put yourself in a position of power. You need to get that power. You need to get that leadership. But they didn't listen to me. And I mean, some people, I don't know some people I decided, look, I gotta block them, because some even decided, hey, look, because there was like some public incident where I had to call out one of these dudes. I had to call him out. I said, because one of them was talking about oh, we should do petitions, but we shouldn't vote. And I was like, that's stupid, right? That's stupid. Why should we petition and not vote? And so, now this individual, they blocked me, and that's fine. I appreciate it. I don't need that kind of stuff. Other people came in. Oh, well, you guys should make up. And I just had to block them. Because the thing is this, that the thing with our people is that there's so much ego, and there's so much of a need for drama that they want individuals who do not see. They want individuals who are trying to be true leadership, and then individuals who are trying to grift, to kiss and make up. For what? And even if you wanted that, the idea that you should come to the party who is right, who is wronged, if you will, the party the party, because the thing is this: if I'm blocked, I can't contact you, even if I have your contact information. Don't make no sense for me to block you. In fact, just the other day, like for instance, if I'm talking to a lady and she says, "Look, I don't want to deal with you anymore," right? It's not on me to go. Oh, well, I mean, maybe once I could be like, "Hey, maybe we should talk about it," but after that, you're done. Put her in the filing box. You don't come to me and be like, "Well, you should change your mind on this woman," because it's not my mind to change. It's her mind to change. You understand? If she makes the decision, if she makes the adult decision to step away from me, right, or to not engage me, then why are you coming to me about it? You understand? I give people their freedom. Like my thing is that my ancestors are Maroons. I'm about giving people their freedom. You understand? So of course I had to block those people too. Now they came on the Discord and started causing some drama. I don't know why. I entertained it for a little, deleted it after. But the main thing that we have to understand is that it comes down to the serious need for us to have true leadership and not just grifters, not just people trying to sell things to you. You understand? I'm not going to tell you, oh, look, I don't want you to buy my books, because I do, But I also understand that what we need to do, what we have is that we have a lack of direction, and we need to fill that void. This is why I have the brainstorm next Saturday, or Saturday coming, right? The reason why I have this brainstorm Saturday coming is because we have to really assume the leadership of our race, because without it, we're going to stay irrelevant, because these grifters were highly active. If I can tell you, one of them, Tariq Nasheed, I don't know how many followers he has, maybe like 100,000 something followers, right? And all he's doing after this election, all he's doing is, well, these immigrants, they're just calling us a kata. That's what he does. He goes back into this anti-immigrant rant, and people are swallowing it up. No political power, no political pull, no real influence outside of entertainment, and all he's doing is causing division. All he's doing is causing division, and it keeps going. Throughout all of them. All of them push this division. All of them push this victim narrative. And we have to get away from that. So this is why I'm telling you, you be there on Saturday. Be there on Saturday, or just don't be anywhere. Because the reality is that we're going to change the world. We're going to change the world, because Garvey changed the world, and we're following Garvey. All right? Garvey changed the world, and we're following Garvey. Only the leadership is to be blamed in an economic crisis. We are to be blamed. We are to be blamed if we do not assume the leadership. We have to take the leadership from these grifters. Because no matter how good a person may seem, no matter how good a person may have started out, you have to study them. And you have to see whether the influence got to their head. Right? And you got to say to yourself, how can I do better? Because you can do better. And I'm telling you, you come to the Saturday brainstorm, right? You come to the Saturday brainstorm, and we can do something concrete together to really change the destiny of our people. Let me get an ashe. So let's go to the next one. So the community leader is a dog's head. Everybody knocks upon it. One spits at the leader. A true leader is an object of critics, right? This is very important. But you have to realize that one of the issues with us as a people is that we don't really have any leaders. Well, I'll speak for America. Right? Now, we technically do have national leaders on the continent, but it's very important for us to be the local leaders on the continent, to be the objects of critics, but also to put the direction of our race forward. You know, when I'm talking about what's going on Saturday, I'm talking about we as an African people, okay? We as an African people can get that consciousness that we need. You know, because I tell you, when I was reading, this, I'm being reminded of my earlier works, my earlier contributions to our race, and I'm saying to myself, these contributions, they were pushing for a transformation of our destiny. And this is what we have to come back to. We have to come back to positioning ourselves into that leadership, and that's something that we need to brainstorm on. We need to get together and say to ourselves, how can we do this? Because it's not being done. A lot of our people are being misled and it's not being done. We have to get together and build. Because too many of our people are absorbed with drama. Okay? Too many people are absorbed with trauma. Okay? Too many of our people, right? Don't know another rhyme for that. But too many of our people do not want to really change the destiny. They want to collect money on saying how much of a victims we are. These Nigerians, they make fun of us. Give me some money. Give me some money and I'll produce a documentary on it. Oh, these Democrats, they screwed us over. Give me some money and I'll put some money on it. I'll produce a documentary on it. We'll hold a conference together. We'll talk about. You have to say to yourself, look, we have to be in a position to set the direction of our people. Okay? We have to be in a position to set the direction of our people. And if we're not willing to do that, if we just want to be dramatic, if we just want to shake hands and hold, because here's the thing too. One of these brothers was in my mentions, in my DMs, telling me, oh well, I spoke to this other guy, and he thinks that you did this, and that's why you should. And I'm like, what? Of course I blocked him, but he's in my DMs and he's telling me, so on and so forth, and it's like, this is the drama that we're talking about. You don't look. You don't have to make up with nobody. One, two, For the amount of years I've been on social media and I've been engaged with this person, I'm not gonna say that basically I'll say this. We've never built together. You understand? With a lot of the people on social media, I've never built anything with them. Unless they're waiting for something, right? Unless they were waiting for something and it was in the works or something, we've never really built together. At best, I went to a conference, and I was like a speaker put in the back. You know what I mean? I was I was like in the corner or somewhere, But at best, that's all it was. You understand? So if you're really serious about building, right? Because a lot of people aren't. They're serious about they want us. They want what Pan-African unity is just a bunch of Americans. A lot of times, what Pan-African unity means is a bunch of Americans sitting down together, talking about, oh, we got it bad. Oh, we getting screwed over. Oh, we victims. Right? And to me, that's not what Pan-African unity is. Pan-African unity is us having a powerful African nation that is setting a direction for our people. And if you're not working for that, if you in my mentions, if you in my DMs, thinking that you could privately contact me to make up with some dude who doesn't even have ambition for Africa, right? Then obviously you're knocking on the wrong door, talking to the wrong people, and asking the wrong questions, and your concerns are not there. Anytime, look, your concerns are not there. So this is what and of course, like listen, a true leader is an object of critics. A lot of people are gonna criticize me. Not to say that I'm a true leader yet, but I'm just saying a lot of people are gonna criticize me. A lot of people are gonna criticize you, because what you have to do is you have to be. Everybody's gonna knock upon you. Prepare for it. Prepare for it. Make your decisions, but make it so that your people can strive and move forward. That's all that really matters here. That's all that really matters here. None of that ego, none of that other stuff really matters. So we got two more But this one right here is this one. It says a person prepared beforehand is better than after reflection. A person prepared beforehand is better than after reflection. This is the issue with us. I'm actually have to give a shout out to this brother on Twitter though, called expounds. He's the only one of the only people I saw that predicted Biden would win over Trump. Everybody else was just, oh yes, this is why Trump lost. This is why Biden lost, because he didn't do blah blah blah. And it's just like, that's, this is a person who prepared beforehand. The expounds is somebody who prepared beforehand, rather than and the other people just, oh well, now we're doomed. Oh no, it's just the immigrants that came through. The immigrants don't even amount to 5% or whatever, right? But I say this to say that you gotta be able to peep game. You gotta see who's connected to reality, who is confident in their knowledge, right, and who is correct. You understand? But not just that. Moving forward, it's actually, I want to give you another ancient African proverb, which goes, a friend of a fool is a fool, and a friend of a wise person is a wise person. Okay? A friend of a fool is a fool, and a friend of a wise person is a wise person. If you cannot see, if you're friends with a fool, that's it. You have to fix your social circle. Once you see that something, once you see that things are going, that some people are one way, fix your circle. Now with family, you don't do that. Like just now, my family member wrote me and said, well, look, man, things are looking like Armageddon. Things are looking like the end of, some Christian stuff. I don't know, Revelations or something, right? That's my family, so I'm just like, okay, cool. Yes, man. You know what I mean? Now, if that was my friend, blocked him. You say, what? You think what? Or they say, look, man, they come to you and they like, hey, man, Assalamu alaikum, blocked them. Blocked them. Anybody telling you do not block these people for being so on and so forth. Now, of course, look, you give them a chance. That's what I do. I give everybody a chance. There was one of the sisters I blocked. She came on the Discord causing trouble, blah, blah, blah. And I was willing to forgive her. All I said was, look, and I even specifically said, I said, look, as long as, if you were, most people when they run, they apologize. She said, I'm not apologizing for nothing. You already know. She's like, you already made up your mind. I didn't make up my mind. Right? I said, look, if you apologize, we all good, because another African proverb, if y'all don't know, and that's the thing, if you got to read the literature and you'll see. But one of the African proverbs is, if you offend somebody, ask for a pardon. And if you're offended, forgive. Right? So, like although people think Christianity is where you forgive and all that, no. It's in ancient Africa, it was, yeah, you can forgive people. But they have to ask for a pardon. But if they're like, look, I ain't doing you no wrong, I don't give a shit, blah, 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 you made up your mind, you say, okay, great. Of course, after that, I kind of looked into this stuff, because I'm just like, I got things to do. And I saw that, they still they're talking about me, They're like, oh yeah, man, people got ego and they blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, that's interesting. But that's the thing, you sometimes you follow your gut. You follow your instincts. You say, look, I don't want drama. You have to be, it's like I said, prepared beforehand, but after reflection. You have to understand that you cleanse your social circle. Okay? You don't wait for the people in your social circle to tear you down, and then you're like, oh, shoot, I should have done something. I could have done this differently. It's like, I'm telling you, one time I was dating this woman. And she just said something. Well, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to give you too much information. But she just said something, and it was like a big red flag. But I ignored it. Later on, you know what I mean? I was running to get out of that relationship. You know what I'm saying? I was tripping over people. You know what I'm saying? But the point being that if you see a red flag, now I want to emphasize that one of the proverbs is leave those in error who love their errors, and that's why you give people an opportunity. You check to see, do they love their error? You understand? Do they love their error? Because like I said with the sister, I said, look, most people would apologize. She said, I don't need to apologize. That's somebody who loves their error. Okay? When people go online, they're like, oh man, we got, problems that these people got, everybody got egos. You got an ego. Blah, blah, blah. They in my Discord, causing all sorts of drama. You already know they love their error. You understand? If I wrong somebody, right? If I really wrong somebody, and that's what I'm saying, like if I wrong somebody, I say to myself, look, man, I might have, I overstepped. You understand? I overstepped. I said something wrong. I did this. So whatever. I'm humble. You understand? I don't cause no drama. Right them to the side. I'll do all that. You understand? But this is what you have to do. You have to give people opportunities. I'm telling you this. This is how you navigate life. All right. I'm giving you some life lessons. You give people opportunities. You talk to them. You try to be however you can. But then you have to peep game. When I was in this organization, the sister told me, by the time the fools learn how the game is played, the players have dispersed. You understand? By the time the fools learn how the game is played, the players have dispersed. Nobody's in your... If you're a fool, if you're being fooled, if somebody is fooling you, they're not going to stick around. They're not going to stick around. You understand? So you don't owe people your time and your energy, right? If they're just trying to fool you, they're just trying to collect money from you, they're just trying to grift you, they're just trying to exploit you, extort you. You don't owe them anything. You understand? Because the mission and the objective is the liberation of Africa. So that's what you have to work towards. That's what you have to work towards. And of course, this is the last one for today. And then we're gonna go on to something else. But how y'all doing, fam? How y'all doing? Let me type everybody. Type everybody and see what's going on. Any questions? Let me see if there's any questions. We had the last one, and I don't wanna kick off too early. So let's go. This one says, the coming year is not out of sight. Look at that. Perfect. The coming year is not out of sight. Let us be up and work. All right? It's November. It's November 2021 is coming. Let us come up and work. If you haven't checked it out yet, there's a podcast. There's one where I invite you to the brainstorm. I invite you to the brainstorm. Right? And the brainstorm is about no drama. It's not about the Nevolutionaries. It's not about the Pan-Africanists. It's not about the black-faced nationalists. Right? It's not about hashtag soda. Okay? It's not about, whatever else you want to use. Right? It's about us getting up and work because the year is coming and we want to do something to hold us accountable towards the transformation of our own community. It's 2021. All right? It's 2021. The white people this year, with of course, and I'm going to say with the assistance of black folk, in America, white people try to decide their own destiny. All right? Now it's time for black folk, okay? And with the assistance of black folk. But black folk to decide their destiny. And if you're not willing to get on board with that, that's fine. I'm not going to be your friend. Because I said, a friend of a fool is a fool. I'm not going to be no fool. Okay? I'm not going to be no fool. It's 2021. All right? And that's 2021 WP without Pan-Africanism. We're going to try to make it so that our children have liberty. Our children have freedom, because already you see the quote-unquote people who were trying to be the leadership, the quote-unquote people with all the followers and all the accolades and all the, they're able to pull off everybody, and everybody comes to meet and talk on their platform. Those kind of people, what they have done so far, what they have done these last 2 years in their positions of influence, right, is, as the song goes, absolutely nothing. Let us come to work. Let us get something done. The The workshop is on Saturday. Sorry, the brainstorm is on Saturday. You know, but you could call it a workshop too. We're going to get things done and move things forward. Thank you so much for listening. I see there's no questions, but I appreciate everybody who listened and tuned in. And hopefully someday, not someday, hopefully on Saturday, we can get together and get things done. Afromax says Abibi Fahodie. That's the truth. Abibi Fahodie, Shemi Hotep, and Uncle Johnson Neb. Amen. Ma'at. Do I nature?